What does it take for one man to build a future beyond anyone's imagination? There is no greater force on earth than a man determined, stoked by fire in the belly, unwavering grit and a perseverant mind. Decades back, one man had the courage and audacity to challenge the future with his vision. The vision of a new India, standing tall, elegant and shimmering with possibilities, offering a lifestyle not experienced before and attracting new businesses and talent from across the world. From small beginnings and burning dreams are edifices sometimes built, much as a tiny acorn leads to a mighty oak. Hailing from a small village and a humble background, Mr. K.P. Singh traversed from a madrasa to private schools and colleges. Life can sometimes deal you wild cards. And thus, it was an accident of fate that led K.P., as he fondly called, to meet the then Viceroy of India and become an avid sportsperson, riding horses while playing polo and dashing across the tennis court to enthrall one and all. Much as sports became a passion, KP travelled to UK to study aeronautical engineering. The passion of horses saw him dabble with the polo aristocracy in UK, including the then military advisor to Indian High Commissioner in UK, Brigadier Vadalia, who persuaded KP to join the Indian Army. Always a believer in head over heart, KP took the hard decision to join the Indian Military Academy, where he distinguished himself and served in the famous cavalry regiment of Indian Army, called the Deccan Horse, for 9 years. I enjoyed that phase thoroughly, KP now recounts. Around this time, KP married Indira, whose family owned the real estate company called DLF. A new journey began. Incorporated in 1946, just a few months before partition, DLF was founded by Chaudhry Raghavendra Singh, a man with true vision and passion. Saw him create 21 most prestigious colonies in Delhi. DLF shut down completely in 1958 due to nationalization of urban land development business by the government. Thereafter, the group diversified into manufacturing of precision electric motors and storage batteries, with KP handling the helm. It was in mid-1970s that KP took upon himself the uphill task of reviving DLF. Despite the fact that the business of urban land development was banned by law ever since 1958, and banks were not permitted to loan money to urban land development business. DLF had no money and no organization, having been a closed entity for nearly 2 decades. But there was foresight and there was a dream. Most called it impossible. But KP's vision was to establish a modern city on the outskirts of Delhi, a global township that is known as Gurgaon today. Here again, the immediate bottleneck was the ownership of land, which was scattered into feudal families, with 5-6 acres resting with each family. Whereas to create a new city, several thousand acres of land were required. The biggest challenge was to reverse archaic laws, buy the land without having money, and creating a contiguous block of thousands of acres of land. It was a task that seemed impossible to everyone. But KP's vision, determination, courage and guts made him tackle the impossible. To purchase the land, he had to win the trust and confidence of farmers, which took over a decade, eventually making them partners in progress. It is unheard of anywhere in the world that land could be purchased on credit. KP turned into a single-man army with only a few low-key staff to support him. He personally lobbied at every level of the government to push for a change in the outdated laws, while simultaneously pursuing the purchase of land. KP would travel to Chandigarh 2-3 times a week, sleeping on the back seat of his car through the night, eating at dhabas, meeting ministers in the morning, liaising with officials and town planners, and thrashing out pending issues relating to his proposed venture. KP would thereafter drive back to Delhi, poring over General Electric's corporate papers on high-tech business encompassing space, aviation, locomotives, power, turbine and consumer durables, etc. As GE's national advisor in India, he would attend meetings with top government officials and policy makers. KP ended up being the catalyst who persuaded the legendary Jack Welch, chairman of GE, to visit India and invest heavily in the country. This got the interest of other global corporations who followed suit, which opened the floodgates of FDI into the country. KP Singh is the eponym for DLF today. There was a time when he was about to sell his stakes in the company without adding a single icon in the Gurgaon skyline. KP's life is a story of unbelievable events brought together by destiny and put to good use by KP's ever wanting more attitude. As we embark on a journey through KP Singh's life, it's the rare and inspiring moments that stand out among the many tales of adventure and perseverance and courage. And we are privileged to hear some of the most unforgettable moments from his extraordinary life. Join us as we delve into the story of KP Singh and discover the triumphs and challenges that have shaped his legacy.
Some bureaucrats and political personalities were not in favor of my initiative to establish this township. In fact, one day, I was suddenly told that the entire phase 2 area of our development of about 300, 400, about 350 acres was notified by Government of Haryana Housing Department for establishing a housing setup for the middle income group, what we call it affordable housing. So when I was told about this, fortunately the Chief Minister at that time was Chaudhry Bhajan Lal, who was an extremely competent and good Chief Minister. So I said, how this has happened? So it came out, it was one jealous bureaucrat who was Secretary of the Housing Department who had the powers to notify. He just notified. Anyway, after some time, yet another bombshell came. In the morning, when I was glancing through the newspaper, I suddenly found a full-page ad given by Haryana government saying that all development license of DLF in Gurgaon stands cancelled, and therefore all actions thereafter would be a criminal activity. It was so widely advertised in several newspapers for several days that when a reporter came to me and asked me for my views, I said, look, DLF has never done anything wrong. It is completely baseless on wrong facts, but obviously it was a personal vendetta of the then Chief Minister Chaudhry Bansilal to pull me down. And when we asked why, reason, we were only told by these bureaucrats the orders from higher ups. So when the journalists came to my office to ask my reaction, I said, look, DLF has never done anything wrong, never been violative of any law. So it is a case of like a bull in the china shop. Now this enraged the Chief Minister next day, called all the officials and the police that let us show KP Singh what a bull means. And then the whole power was unleashed on me, police, to arrest me for no crime. I had done nothing wrong, but they were just against development of Gurgaon. So when this happened, naturally I was rattled. So when I came back home, my late wife Indra was so mature and bold. She told me, she said, look KP, don't get scared. Remember what Jack Welch told you. I said, what? At that time DLF was not even 30 number because there were others who were much bigger developers than DLF. And Jack Welch told that KP, any business you do, you must be number one. So she encouraged me that to be number one, you have to take risks because you know you are doing right thing and God is with you. Everyone's blessing is with you. Go and face it. Eventually you will win. With these words of encouragement, I single-handedly, I had nobody else with me. Then of course I got the order stayed from the High Court, but then it was, market was completely rattled. But I faced it. And I tried to convince the Chief Minister that please tell me what mistake have I done. Fortunately, new elections took place after a few months. This Chief Minister was voted out of power. Then again a new Chief Minister came, Chaudhry Devilal, a very nice gentleman, very pro-development. They all knew something unfair was being done to us. So by following a process of law, a procedure, which are very elaborate, you have to make a representation, court of inquiry is appointed, all this big bang happened. After a few months, our license were restored. We are back in business. So like this, on several occasions, it was like a case, frankly, of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And throughout the journey, I was often advised by a great mentor of mine called Shori Saab, I call him, who was very fluent in saying some Urdu couplets. The 2 Urdu couplets which became the backbone of my life and my zest for life in future. They were. One was, Kundae Mukhalif se na ghabrai e aqab. Now, the poet says, Kundae means storm, Mukhalif means opposite, Aqab is called eagle. O eagle, do not get scared of the opposite winds. So I say again, Kundae Mukhalif se na ghabrai e aqab. ये तो आता है तुझे ऊंचा उठाने के लिए. This encouraged me. Storm is there, I'll face it. Likewise another one, which became again thing, same, my mentor said, Himmate marda madad-e khuda. means himmat, courage. Khuda, God. Those people who have courage, determination and grit and do the right thing, God eventually helps them. This is what happens in my life. I didn't deviate. I fought battles single-handedly with all the adversity. And as you have seen, I won, but very difficult. It looked impossible certain times. But I suppose my sheer courage, determination, grit and hunger to succeed made me to make it possible what appeared impossible at that time.
KP fondly reminisces that what helped achieve all this was DLF's work ethic and moral values, with no room for shortcuts. Chaudhry Sahib always believed in being straight and true in business and would repeatedly tell KP to never flag from this path. KP followed Chaudhry Sahib's vision and example, and he proudly says that his son Rajiv Singh is today enhancing the legacy. The fourth generation of the family now carries the same values, thus continuing the legacy for 76 years, unheard of anywhere in the world. Earlier in life, KP Singh is the recipient of various international and national awards, notably among them being the Padma Bhushan in 2010 by President of India, Officer of the Order of Monaco by Prince Albert II of Monaco in 2010, Asian Entrepreneur of the Year Award in Antwerp by PwC in 2011, and Indian of the Year by NDTV in 2007, along with a doctorate from the Pant University and Delhi Ratna Award for his exceptional services towards the development of the country, including Delhi. And now came the coveted Lifetime Achievement Award to KP from none other than Ernst & Young, widely recognized as the premier organization to recognize true pioneers in the field of business worldwide. EY recognized the fact that the unachievable had actually been achieved, with a city like Gurgaon created from next to nothing by KP. The sheer depth of the EY Lifetime Achievement Award is staggering. For the ultimate winner, KP was chosen from 60 countries and 145 cities from amongst hundreds of successful entrepreneurs and global achievers. This is a celebration that recognizes the deepest resolves of vision, passion and humility. For a salutation that facilitates a lifetime of values, effort and sweat, carrying for decades the burden of 1,000 dreams on one man's shoulders alone. With over 5 decades of experience, KP has witnessed the mess in the country's urban development. He knows what ails India's urbanization and the challenges of creating a new city. As he discusses the challenges and the urgent need for a new urbanization policy for the country to match with the projected growth of 5 trillion economy, the Honorable Prime Minister echoed his sentiments in an article published in the Economic Times titled "Well-Planned Cities Will Decide the Fate of India." Great visionaries think alike. KP has accomplished the impossible by transforming barren land into a world-class city. Today, Gurgaon is a bustling metropolis where people from diverse cultures and communities from across the world live and work. The city is headquarters for several Fortune 500 MNCs and large Indian corporates. It provides employment to over 2 million people. While Gurgaon is presently only developed 50%, its full potential is left to your imagination. Unstoppable at 93 plus, the legacy continues with his son Rajiv and the 4th generation of the Singh family, now devoting his time to philanthropic activities through the KP Singh Charitable Foundation to make it a meaningful organization. He continues to care for India.